Well, joining us now, a very special guest, Dr. Soumya Swaminathan is Chief Scientist at the World Health Organization. She joins us at a time when desperate efforts are being made for India to step up vaccination. Our overall vaccination numbers have been fairly low. But India also has had a responsibility in giving vaccines to so many countries in the world through COVAX, an international facility. But then, of course, vaccine exports have been banned. So, ma'am, my first question to you, how badly has COVAX, the international facility backed by the WHO, been hit by India's inability to export vaccines presently?
The COVAX facility is quite dependent on supplies from India, particularly from the Serum Institute, both for the Covishield vaccine as well as for the Novavax, which is coming up in the next couple of months. And so the supplies to COVAX have been very severely impacted by the inability of the Serum Institute to provide doses. And we are hoping that in the coming months, as the production capacity goes up for at the Serum Institute, that they will be able to again, restart supplying COVAX. Meanwhile, of course, COVAX is also expanding its portfolio and going ahead with deals with multiple companies so that the supplies are constant.
Now, in the immediate run, would you have an estimate on how many countries have been impacted as a result of the export ban in India?
It's a very large number. We have 91 countries in the AMC group. India is a 92nd, so we call it as an AMC 92, but the 91 other countries are all impacted by the shortage of supplies, and particularly since the AstraZeneca parent company has not been able to compensate for the doses that have not come from Serum. So this is a problem, and most African countries, unfortunately, have vaccinated less than 0.5% of their population and haven't even vaccinated all their healthcare workers. Yeah. So this is why we're focusing now on dose sharing and encouraging countries who have excess supplies to give it to COVAX.
And therefore, are you worried that with this more transmissible strain, B16172, the possibility of it getting to more countries is higher, it's more transmissible, and many of these countries are unvaccinated at this stage?
Exactly. This is what we're really worried about, that not just the B16172, but other variants could emerge in other countries and spread around the world. We know that these variants spread very quickly, even before they can be recognized. They're already spreading around the world. The same thing happened with the 117, which is now dominant. So this is really the worry, that if we continue with having this inequitable distribution of available vaccines, that we will see some countries going back to some degree of normalcy in their life, while other countries are hit very hard and continue to be hit hard by subsequent waves. And this is why we are really going out with a plea to all countries to share doses so that the vulnerable groups can be protected before we start expanding to other groups like children.
So how key is the development of a single-dose nasal vaccine, particularly for countries like India, which have a huge debt burden, which have a huge population burden, in order to obviously get people vaccinated faster?
So a vaccine that can be administered without an injection, either an oral vaccine or a nasal vaccine which can be given by drops or by a spray, would be fantastic, because it would make delivery so much easier.
Right.
It would also have the advantage of creating immunity in the upper respiratory tract, mucosal immunity. And so it might actually work quite well at preventing infection as well as at preventing disease. So it's very exciting to see the developments in the nasal vaccines, and we have at least two candidates in India, from Bharat Biotech and from the Serum Institute, that are advancing, that have gone through phase 1. And we're hoping that we can quickly move them into phase 2 and 3 trials in order to see the results, because ultimately you do have to study the efficacy as well as the safety. But it would make a huge difference. It would be possible to scale up vaccination campaigns and programs significantly, and also to administer, and you don't need the workforce that you would need for for the injectable vaccines. So it's encouraging. The early results from animal studies are very encouraging, but we need to look at the phase 2 and 3 human trial results before we can be absolutely sure.
All right, Dr. Swaminathan, thanks very much for being with us.